Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Meredith Lego, and my YouTube channel is on the science of ascension and the mechanics of consciousness expansion. And in today's video, I'm going to touch upon a concept around the veil, which is basically the concept that there is some veil that is essentially, keeping us from, I guess you could say, seeing other frequencies like that we can't normally see, hearing or tuning into, let's say, other frequencies more often with sound, and then just kind of generally knowing what's going on in other dimensions more freely. And the way that I got this information, if you're new to the channel, is I am able to connect through channeling. And it's not trance channeling by any means, but it's basically after meditation, I'm able to tune into different frequencies or different beings, intra or extra, kind of intradimensional or extra dimensional beings who just operate at a different frequency and essentially have a conversation. And so that's basically who I tuned into. And this is a collective consciousness group that I've been working with. So I didn't necessarily have a question per se, but I was just thinking about the veil and what the veil was. And this is the information that started to flow. So the veil is a boundary of consciousness meant to facilitate the development and exploration of consciousness and consciousness fractals. For without a veil, all is known, and it assumes constant or staticity. Just pausing right there, that was a completely new word, staticity, and I had to look it up. But it basically means the state, the kind of being in the condition of being static. So in other words, what they're saying is if there's not a veil, you'll basically know everything. And because of that, it assumes that you'll stay constant or you'll stay static, in other words. So they go on to say that if all is known, the quest for exploration and growth through experience or challenge does not occur. It acts as a continuous carrot, to use the analogy. When an individual consciousness unit or fractal is ready, more veil is lifted. The readiness is determined by the frequency acting as an unlock to portals of consciousness. So that kind of makes perfect sense. So if you kind of already know everything, there's kind of no point for you to go out and experience more because you kind of know everything. So they're basically saying that consciousness, the veil is actually a boundary of consciousness that's meant to facilitate the growth of consciousness. So that would imply that consciousness put the veil in place in the first place, meaning that we have created our own veil in order to experience growth and learning, basically. Then I asked the question, why is there a veil of forgetfulness on Earth? And I received the answer, if you know the whole story or movie, would you desire to sit through the experience? The veil of forgetfulness is established for lower frequency life forms to evolve and grasp lessons of grounding and the first three ray spectrums. And here they were referencing basically the lower chakras, which would be the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. And in those particular cases, you're basically learning about how to deal with your environment and to survive, how to interact with others, and then how to gain will or mastery, basically, and kind of take your power, so to speak, or be in your power as an individual. When love for self is achieved, love for others can explode, opening the path for more multidimensional consciousness. For example, if you walked into a life and knew that your mother, father, brother, or sister did a horrible act to you in another lifetime, Would you be open to connecting with them through love, or would you live with constant resentment? It takes a level of mastery and maturity to understand the nature of love and forgiveness, understanding that roles are played and reversed from life to life to gift the ability for empathy. For a being truly masters knowingness of pain, overcoming a challenge, victimization, or being a victimizer, love, etc., by walking in the shoes from life to life. So basically what they're saying is that you really gain mastery, or you gain knowingness of what it means to go through these experiences, and therefore have empathy when you've actually been in the shoes of those situations. So for example, it's a lot harder to teach somebody to drive a car if all you've done is read a book about it. But once you've actually driven a car, gone through all the scenarios of being a car driver, including maybe having an accident, then you understand what it means and have empathy with others in those situations. They go on to say that once the being is ready to receive the knowingness of the growth process and the desire to heal yourself for love, access to other life memories open. So that kind of goes on to imply what they said in an earlier paragraph, that is that when you get to a certain frequency, which means that you've probably released some more stagnant, higher dense energies that could be residing in your electromagnetic field and in your body. Once you've kind of moved past that, and that's usually done through self-healing, when you've learned that self-love, when you start to love yourself, you open the door for loving others. And essentially, when you do that, you create a frequency that has the ability to unlock more portals of consciousness, or sort of start to thin the veils within that you have created within your own consciousness, and thereby have the ability to access other lifetimes that you've lived and the memories that have gone on within those lifetimes. Some souls of very high frequencies who yearn to serve humanity's awakening into higher consciousness are walking into bodies or are birthing with the veil of forgetfulness greatly reduced or diminished. They have the contracts and the means to plow the road and forge a new future and vision for humanity. So what they're saying is that basically at this time on Earth, we've got a higher influx of beings, if you will, or consciousness souls who basically have a higher frequency. They're able now to settle into bodies because perhaps the bodies have started to mature enough to be able to hold the higher frequencies. And they're either walking in to an existing body and or are just going through the normal birthing process. And they seem to have a greater ability to remember other lives. And I've seen this playing out where you've got more and more stories of children who wouldn't likely be taught these, taught about this, but they might be 3-4 years old and they're starting to tell their mothers about other memories and other lives that they've had. And in these times, we have enough technology and enough, recording of historic events where they have memories of other lives that have been documented. And, some people have the ability to trace that life. And they'll go to these situations, or their parents will take them there, and they know the people, they know the town, they know, let's say, where they died. So these things are starting to pop up more and more because, again, these souls are walking in, and they've already gone or opened up those portals of consciousness enough so that they can retain those memories going into the next life, which I think is great for humanity. And then at the end of that, I wanted to know what was the best and highest good for humanity to know at this time, which is a question that I asked from time to time. And they basically said that love from within is the healing of the soul. So that's the consistent message that I've always heard, which is learn to essentially love yourself. And it's not in the self-centered way, but it's more in the form of, love yourself for who you are. Heal all the traumas that you have. And in doing so, it's sometimes called shadow work, but in doing so, then you'll learn to have love and appreciation for others. And that's really, I believe, what that message is. So that's basically all that I got. And, it was a good topic for me because I was always curious about the concept of the veil. And it was just a perspective that I wasn't expecting, which is that essentially we as consciousness sort of create the veil ourselves. So with that, I hope this has added to your understanding and helped you along your own growth as it's helping me. And if you like the content, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in future videos. Have a great evening. Bye.